General dictation with fluctuations, 100 speed, 1000 word for RSMSSB SSC. Be ready. Start. A hobby is considered to be a regular activity that is done for enjoyment, typically during one's leisure time. Stop. Hobbies include collecting theme items and objects, engaging in creative and artistic pursuits, playing sports, or pursuing other amusements. Stop. Participation in hobbies encourages acquiring substantial skills and knowledge in that area. Stop. A list of hobbies changes with interests and developing fashions, making it diverse and lengthy. Stop. Hobbies tend to follow trends in society. For example, stamp collecting was popular during the 19th and 20th centuries as postal systems were the main means of communication, while video games are more popular nowadays following technological advances. Stop. The advancing production and technology of the 19th century provided workers with more leisure time to engage in hobbies. Stop. Because of this, the efforts of people investing in hobbies has increased with time. Stop. Hobbies may be identified under three subcategories: casual leisure, which is rewarding, short-lived, pleasurable activity requiring little or no preparation; serious leisure, which is the systematic pursuit or volunteer that is substantial, rewarding, and results in a sense of accomplishment; and finally, project-based leisure, which is a short-term project that is rewarding. Stop para. In the 16th century, the term hobby had the meaning of small horse and pony. Stop. The term hobby horse was documented in a 1957 payment confirmation for Reading England. Stop. It was designed for a child to mimic riding a real horse. Stop. A hobby is also called a pastime, derived from the use of hobbies to pass the time. Stop. A hobby became an activity that is practiced regularly and usually with some worthwhile purpose. Stop. Hobbies are usually but not always practiced primarily for interest and enjoyment rather than financial rewards. Stop. Para. He was acknowledging that a hobby horse produces a legitimate sense of pride. Stop. The cultural shift towards acceptance of hobbies were thought to begin during the mid 18th century as working people had no more regular hours of work and greater leisure time, spending more time to pursue interests that brought them satisfaction. Stop. However, there was concern that these working people might not use their leisure time in worthwhile pursuits. Stop. The hope of winning people away from bad habits by the provision of counter attractions came to the fore in the 1830s and has rarely stopped. Initially, the bad habits were perceived to be physical in nature, and the counter attractions, or perhaps more accurately, alternative deliberately cultivated nationality and the intellect. Stop. The book and magazine trade of the day encouraged worthwhile hobbies and pursuits. Stop. The manufacturing trade made materials used in hobbies cheap and was responsive to the changing interests of hobbies. Stop para. Deciding what to include in a list of hobbies provokes debate because it is difficult to decide which can also be described as hobbies. Stop. During the 20th century, The term hobby suggested activities such as stamp collecting, painting, photography. Stop. Typically, the description did not include activities like listening to music, watching television, or reading. Stop. These later activities bring pleasure but lack the sense of achievement usually associated with a hobby. Stop. They are usually not construct organized pursuits as most hobbies are. Stop. The pleasure of a hobby is usually associated with making something of value or achieving something of value. Stop. Such leisure is socially precisely because it produces feelings of satisfaction with something that looks very much like work but that is done of its own sake. Stop. Hobbies are a contradiction that take work and turn it into leisure and take leisure and turn it into work. Stop. A study using survey results identified the term hobby to most accurately describe activities associated with making or collecting objects, especially when done alone. Stop. Para. Cultural trends related to hobbies change with time. Stop. In the 21st centuries, the video game industry has been popular as a hobby involving millions of children and adults. Stop. Stamp collecting declined along with the importance of the postal system. Stop. As hobbies because manufactured goods provide cheap alternatives for handmade goods. Stop. Through the internet, an online community has become a hobby for many. Stop. Para. Hobbies are a part of a wider group of people engaged in leisure pursuits where the boundaries of each group overlap to some extent. Stop. The serious leisure perspective groups hobbies with identifies three broad groups of leisure activity, with hobbies being found mainly in the serious leisure category. Stop. Casual leisure is short-lived activity requiring little or no preparation. Stop. Serious leisure is the systematic pursuit of an amateur hobbies or volunteer that is substantial, rewarding, and results in a sense of accomplishment. Stop. Finally, project-based leisure is a short term, often that is rewarding. Stop. Para. A large portion of hobbies are mainly solitary in nature. Stop. However, individual pursuit of a hobby often includes club memberships, organized sharing of products, and regular communication between participants. Stop. For many hobbies, there is an important role in being in touch with fellow hobbies. Stop. Some hobbies are of communal nature, like choral singing and volunteering. Stop. Para. People who engage in hobbies have an interest in and time to pursue them. Stop. Children have been an important group of hobbies because they are enthusiastic for collecting, making, and exploring. In addition to this, they have the leisure time that allows them to pursue those hobbies. Stop. The growth in hobbies occurred during industrialization, which gave workers set time for leisure. Stop. During the Depression, there was an increase in the participation in hobbies because the unemployed had the time and a desire to be purposefully occupied. Stop. Hobbies are often pursued with an interest by retired people because they have the time and seek the intellectual and physical stimulation of hobby provides. Stop. Para. Earth retaining structures such as retaining walls also need to consider groundwater drainage. Stop. Typical retaining walls are constructed of material which can block the path of groundwater. Stop. When groundwater flow is obstructed, water pressure build-ups against the wall and may cause significant damage. Stop. If the water pressure is not drained appropriately, draining walls can move, fractured and seams separate. Stop. The water pressure can also erode soil particles, leading to voids behind the wall in the above soil. Stop. Traditional retaining wall drainage systems can include stop over.